5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hello and welcome to Truth, Beer, and Podsequences. So this is the podcast where my co-host and I listen to all the Cincinnati-based craft beer podcasts from the previous week. We get together here at our gracious podcast host, BC's Bottle Lodge, Montgomery, on a Tuesday, and we give our version of how those podcasts went. Now, hopefully there aren't too many consequences from the hosts of the other shows. So far, so good. It's all good. I am Marco. I'm a brewer and a bartender here locally. And it's time. It is time to introduce the best co-host in Podcastlandia.
Hello, I am Julia. I am a craft beer drinker here in Cincinnati, and I like to write funny things about beer, mostly during the beer vent season, which beer vent calendars are on pre-sale right now.
That's right.
Higher Gravity Craft House, HAUS.com. Pre-sales go until they sell out, but if you pre-order your beer vent beer calendar box before July 31st, you get a custom-designed glass that's designed by Scott Hand, who, if you love Urban Artifacts can art, you love Scott Hand's art.
There you go.
There you go.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
So thank you to all of you who are new to the pod. Welcome aboard. Truly appreciate your listenership. And thank you to everyone who has been with us for a while. It's
been a while.
It's been a while.
Yeah, this is episode 50, which means in 2 episodes' time, 2 weeks from now, it will be our 1-year podcast-versary.
All right.
A year, nonstop, no breaks. We have never missed a week.
That's right.
And we have something special planned, so stick around to the end of the episode to find out how you can celebrate our 1-year podcast-versary with us.
Yes.
Here at BC's Bottle Lodge, Montgomery. So yes, you have to listen. Please don't skip ahead because we have some awesome podcast recaps coming up for you.
Yes.
But we also have a sponsor for this week's episode.
Yes, we do.
It is our friends from the Great White North, from north of the wall, from Saskatchewan. Wow.
Swift Current
Saskatchewan. The Newbert Report.
Yeah.
They were kind enough to buy us multiple beers.
Yes.
So thank you so much to them. If you love craft beer testing, which is what we call tasting or trying or just drinking.
Housing,
getting pitted off of the craft beers, and also sports, mostly hockey. The Newbert Report is the podcast for you.
Yeah.
2 great guys. They do a great job of talking about everything going on currently, mostly in hockey, but they've covered every sport under the sun, both Canadian, U.S., worldwide. And Newbert even talks about trading card, like sports card buying and reselling and grading. That's been kind of a topic that he's touched on the past couple episodes. Very interesting stuff. So give them a listen. So shout out to the Newbert Report. Thank you so much for supporting us, for being our friends, and as soon as I can track down some Collective Arts beers, we are going to virtually drink together. It's going to be a great time. So give them a follow, check them out. We love our brothers from up north.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Thanks again, and yeah, it's awesome. Truly awesome to have all the podcasts supporting each other, and we wouldn't have even known about Newbert Report if Shift Beers wouldn't have talked about Newbert Report. I have no idea how they found out about Newbert Report, but I
love the connections.
Love it.
Yes.
Speaking of love it, you and I, we're here. We're doing a craft beer podcast. Any craft beer podcast would not be a good craft beer podcast if you weren't having beer.
Absolutely.
So we really drink on this show, ladies and gentlemen. You know, some of the other shows, it's fake. Just fake.
It's fake news. They're not actually drinking. They're like,
drinking.
This is our shift beer, and we're trying these other bonus beers. No, it doesn't happen.
Fake. Get
Doesn't
out of
happen.
here.
But us, we are here for you, and we drink for you.
This is for you, the listeners. Julia, what are you having?
I have Spazzin' in the Basement, which is an IPA from Hoofhearted. Hoofhearted?
Yep.
Yeah, it just depends on how fast you say it. It is a dry hopped IPA, clocks in at 7.2%, and it's a little bit sweeter than what I thought it was going to be. It's hazier, but I wouldn't classify it as fully New England. Really, really good. Really glad that I had producer Brian pour this into my glass for me. How about you? What did you grab from the cooler?
Welcome back, Producer Brian.
Hell yeah, glad you're feeling better.
Yeah, after a short break here. Producer Brian's back. You know Producer Brian's back because he's got the roll-down door up.
Even though it's like 98 degrees and humid. And
so we moved from our regular table a little bit further away from the door, but now we're right under the speaker.
The speaker
also.
and the AC vent, which is the more important part.
Yeah, that's the more important part.
So, Marco, what do you have?
I am having IPA. That's the name of IPA from Masthead Brewing out of Cleveland.
Great brewery.
Yeah, it is 70 IBUs and 6.8% ABV.
Excellent. How is it?
Delicious.
Good.
Delicious.
Very good.
Julia, I know you let the listeners know to stick around to hear about some information about our 1 year anniversary coming up. But there's more information, too.
There is. There is information about how you can continue to support us. You can do that by subscribing, liking, sharing, reviewing, telling your friends, family, coworkers. Shout it from the rooftops.
Yeah, go to the rooftop.
Beers. That's all I have to say about that. Let them know about our show. Follow us on social media. We are at Truth Beer Pod everywhere. If you have anything that's deeper than social media you'd like to talk to us about, our email address is truthbeerpod@gmail.com. All of our episodes are posted to YouTube as well, so you can listen to them. There's no visual, but you can listen to them on the YouTubes. And if you would like to send a couple bucks our way, sponsor an episode, just buy us a pint, you can do that at truthbeerpod.com. There's a big blue support us link, and we would really appreciate it.
That's right. We would. And thank you to all of you who have helped out and contributed in that way. And I know everybody else really wants to help out and contribute in that way. So please do listen to yourself. Go with your gut and go ahead and do it.
Yes. So this show's going to have, I don't want to say a different format because it's going to be the exact same format that we always have. We're going to let you know about the Cincinnati craft beer podcasts that we listen to. We're going to recap them for you. But this was a very big week in Cincinnati as far as craft breweries and awards go.
Yep.
The awards for the 2022 U.S. Open Beer Championship were released, and there were a bunch of Cincinnati breweries that medaled in the different categories. So after we do our podcast recap, we're going to let you know about all of the winners because they deserve shout-outs. They deserve to be screamed from the rooftops about the medals that they won because they're amazing beers. And then after that, we're going to let you know about our anniversary, about our 1 year anniversary and the special celebration that we have planned that you can be a part of.
That's right.
So let's start with the meat of our episode 50 of Truth Beer and Consequences. Marco, did you happen to listen to Shift Beers? It was episode 88.
I did.
Awesome. And then let's go ahead and do it. Did you listen to the Cincinnati Brewcast this week? Drink. Where Gnome talked to a familiar voice.
Yeah. Yeah, I did. I did listen to that one.
Awesome.
So do we just want to get started with that one?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do it. So this episode of Cincy Brewcast, what is craft beer? Josh and I were sitting at home. We had just sat down for dinner, and the Gnome signal started flashing. We looked out the window like, what the hell is that bright light? Are they setting off more fireworks here on the west side? No, it was the Gnome light shining across the sky, looking for some assistance in this past week's episode. I was like, Josh, you want to just get out of here, go to Westside Brewing? And he went, yeah, let's do it. So we headed 7 minutes down the road, post-storm apocalypse. I mean, there were quite literally, we had to take a detour because there were down power lines on our normal route to Westside Brewery.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There were a lot of little pockets of power outages.
Was this the same night the tornado went through?
Not the Goshen one.
Oh, okay.
This was the storm that was a couple days after that. That wasn't as bad, but I mean it was still pretty bad in certain pockets. But yeah, we got there to help Gnome get an episode out where nothing really planned. Just let's show up at Westside Brewing, have some great Westside beers, and talk about whatever struck our fancy, which tend to focus a bit on, or a lot on rather.
Their double IPA?
Their double IPA. I should have had a count, but I didn't. I didn't think of it. Their double IPA is so good.
I've heard.
It is. Have you never had
Well,
it?
of course I've had
Okay,
it.
I was going to say, wait a minute. We need to reevaluate our friendship if you've never had DIPA
Of course
before.
I've had it.
All right, you scared me for a minute there.
Well, because I'm scary.
Was that your nickname in high school?
One
Kind of
of
like
them.
Scary
Yeah,
Spice? There we
one
go.
of them.
All right.
Scary Spice.
So huge shout out to the Gnome for braving the stormpocalypse aftermath to drive all the way over to the west side to talk to us. I don't think he's found his way back out yet.
It's like driving to Egypt.
Which means he no longer lives in Hamilton. He now is a West Sider. So welcome to the West Side, Gnome. Glad that you could be part of the West Side family. You will love it over here.
He's trapped.
He's trapped. He is trapped.
That's what happens on the west side. You get trapped.
It really
And you
is.
go to the chicken place with the
Ron's Roost. Yep.
Ron's Roost.
Yep. Go bowling at Western Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, West Side Brewing is on the west side. How could you want to live anywhere else?
You buy an old ass house
For cheap?
that everything's wrong
Oh
with
my
it.
God. So producer Ben and I both have old ass houses on the west side. And Marco said, you just need to move out of the west
Hey, you
side.
should just move.
Why should we move out of the west side? Because things get old. And I said, Marco, things get old everywhere. And he goes, but they get older on the west side.
Yeah, because they're already old. They're already really old.
Oh, man. So it was Josh's first time on Cincy Brewcast. It was my second time because you and I were on an episode when he came here to BC's a while back. So Josh had his inaugural podcast, Cincy Brewcast podcast introduction, which was really cool for him. Some of the things that we talked about, black IPAs. Are they a good gateway beer into the darker beer style if you are someone that tends to drink, I don't necessarily want to say lighter styles, but lighter or hoppier, non-dark or heavy beers? What are your thoughts? I know Schwarzbier is a big favorite dark
it's an
beer of
important
yours,
conversation.
but just in
and
general,
I'm glad we're having it.
are gateway beers via whether it's a gateway beer that introduces someone from the macro side into craft or from one style into another, are there gateway beers? Do you feel like there are styles or beers that act like that? And do you think that they're good to have? I hope that makes sense.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure, it makes sense. There's a couple of different schools of thought that travel around the beerosphere.
Beerosphere, I like it.
Yes, there are. No, there aren't gateway beers. Oh, I like that term. Oh, I don't like that term. I'm going to go ahead and say that because everybody's tastes and interests and likes are different, to pinpoint something down as a gateway beer is a little bit tough. Because like you said, a black IPA as a gateway beer, maybe for some, not for others.
It's a very polarizing style. I know that
It's trash.
that Brian from Shift Beers really loves those Cascadian dark ales.
Yeah,
but not everyone is such a fan.
Yeah.
But at the same point, to me, if that's the style that helps bridge that gap from someone who maybe only drinks like light lagers
or
into
from
trying dark
1998
stuff.
to 2022. I mean, you could bridge the gap.
Stranger
with
things
with
have happened.
With a
Sorry. Marco I just disappointed Marco so bad. I'm sorry.
no, it's fine.
It's good.
It's fine. It's fine.
Forgive me.
No, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good.
No, it was a lot of fun sitting down with Gnome to talk about really some deep topics that I don't think have any actual answers to them.
Like Westside's double IPA.
Like Westside's double IPA and the variants that Westside has made of their double IPA. They do an exceptional job at pretty much every style that they hit, but their IPAs and their double IPAs, which I guess would still just be their IPAs, all one bucket.
I mean,
Very good.
all of their IPAs.
This Thursday, so it'll already be out by the time this episode airs, they're releasing a smoked IPA, which I am very interested to see what that's like. It's not typically something. What? It's interesting.
Oh, it is.
It's innovative. It's interesting. And
is it innovative? It's just it's interesting, but I don't know if it's innovative.
Has anyone ever done a smoked IPA before?
I'm sure somebody has.
Because if not, well, okay, that's true. I'm sure that someone has. But the fact that it's, I guess to me, it comes across as innovative because I personally have never seen or heard of a smoked IPA. I'm sure
somebody somewhere has done one, but the fact that you and I, have not had one, I like how excited you are about it. And I would absolutely try it if I had some to try.
Okay. I will see what I can make happen. So let's see, what else was there? It wasn't a super long episode. It was pretty much just, let's get together and do this. Gnome had some other friends that were over at Westside Brewing, so we got to hang out with them after recording. What is craft beer? What is it? Does it actually exist anymore? And when you talk about what craft is, if craft is more of a feeling, does that make bud in some situations craft?
So I mean, it's the topic has a wide berth there,
oh,
right?
God, yeah. I don't think there's any actual answer. But.
Yeah, I mean, so even going by, say, the Brewers Association definition, you have breweries as small as Fibonacci to breweries as big as Boston Beer that own Dogfish Head as well.
Right.
So, how
the size of the brewery doesn't necessarily dictate craft.
It doesn't.
So then,
and then Stone sells to Sapporo. Is Stone still craft? And the Golden Road sells to AB. Are they still craft? And it used to be 5-6 years ago the answer was no. They're absolutely not.
Right.
I don't know how to approach the topic, and we've talked about this in some of our earlier episodes, where one thing that I took coming out of the early stages of the COVID-19 pandemic, it really made me think about just everybody who's able and who wants to go and work at a job. Do they deserve any sort of I don't even want to call it judgment, but choosing to not have a product because of a particular beer stance? Because yes, there are things that the Brewers Association should lobby for the breweries that are smaller, and there were some actions by some of the larger breweries by buying up hop farms and limiting the amount of hops that can get out, or charging outrageous rates for the hops by some business practices to shove out smaller competitors in markets and things like that. And you can choose to not, or some craft breweries were tolerating just practices that weren't great. Whether it be employees or
sourcing materials, ingredients, that kind of thing,
or just going all the way out to sexist or racist and all these other things. And those are valid reasons to choose to spend your dollars one way or another. But I really thought that, while we were locked inside our homes and tried to, 12 days, 14 days to flatten the curve, which, shit.
Oh, hold on. Got a button for that one.
Shit. Yeah, flatten the curve. Yeah.
Anyways, best effort. That's a completely different topic.
Yeah,
but,
it is. But my point is that everybody who goes to work at these places that we can call "quote unquote" big beer, they deserve their job.
Sure.
And they deserve to make an income, and they are they're in the beer business. Now, they may not be in the craft beer business, and it goes back to what is craft.
Right.
You know, and so at the brewery I work at, I mean, the mill is very small to crush grain. At other breweries, the mill is gigantic to crush grain. And in some breweries, you can, start equipment by hitting a button on your phone. I mean, is that craft? Is that not craft?
Right.
And that's where it gets all murky, right? And so, to me, I don't think it's necessarily, I don't think it's a feeling. I think there has to be a better way to define it. But ultimately, what does that even mean, and what's the difference?
Right.
And I think it has to go more to, instead of saying craft brewery, I think it's more like what you guys were talking about in the episode, which is, what are you doing in the community to help the community? And impact can be positive and impact can be negative. And if you are having a negative impact, then I'm more likely to understand that this is probably not a place I would spend my dollars. If you were having a positive impact, then I would say, okay, I'm championing spending my dollars there.
So would you say that and again, it's going to vary from person to person what they think a craft brewery or a craft beer is. Would you say for you personally, one of your qualifiers, part of your litmus test of is this craft or not, is community involvement more so than the amount of beer that they produce or any other like quantifiable number, like some type of like measurement?
There is to a degree, but even big beer supports community involvement, right? But to me,
it's such a weird.
To me, it's a different classification. So big beer can support a minor league baseball team, or big beer
and that's supporting their community,
and that's supporting their community
versus a place locally like Fibonacci, our brewery of the week, which they do local like Mount Healthy community nights where people from the community get together. Yeah, it may not be like a monetary funding of a community team event venue, what have you,
but it's still community,
right?
It's a hyper local supportiveness of hyper localism.
So where is that line on community involvement and community support that may and right? And I'm not saying you specifically, but just kind of general into the ether. If that is someone's measurement of craft or not community involvement, well, is it purely monetary? How much money can they put, or is it what events do they try to engage in and support and try to host, what have you, that make their engagement more, air quotes for those not watching the Patreon live stream, craft than like a, again, air quote, big beer community involvement, a non-craft community involvement. It's such a weird, gray, fuzzy area, I feel like, regardless of how you look at it.
I feel like making beer itself is a craft.
Absolutely.
And then
absolutely.
I know that, our good friend of the show, Charlie Papazian.
Yeah, he listens all the time.
All the time. They started to, they coined the term craft. But I think that it's almost time to move on to find a better way to describe some of this, because I don't know. It's tough for me to articulate, and for you guys, it was
hard too. I mean, you heard the pause when Gnome was like, "Well, what do you guys consider craft?" I mean, I didn't know how to answer. I still don't know how to answer. It is such a good question, and one that I don't feel that there is any right answer to, because anymore, I think that craft beer, craft breweries, just the craft beer community as a whole, anymore with how good beer is and how many absolutely amazing community-driven and supportive breweries there are out there, Cincinnati and beyond,
right? It's
harder and harder to really pinpoint anything that can be kind of a blanket statement of what craft beer is that everyone will agree with.
Because even the Brewers Association, BJ's Brewhouse is in the Craft Brewers Association, but BJ's Brewhouse doesn't do anything to try and support the local brewing community. I mean, they're not doing collaborations with Street Side.
It's more like numbers for them that make them hit that craft mark. Does that make sense? And I say mark is more of a, like, the measurable side of what, and again, what is and isn't craft. You know, Rhinegeist is putting out how many barrels a year?
I don't know, 110,000,
ridiculous numbers,
120,000.
but it's still craft.
Yeah. And
It's crazy.
It is, and they're only putting out a small fraction of what Boston Beer, Dogfish Head are putting out.
Sure.
So, but yeah,
I don't know.
it
Good
is-
conversation, good questions.
well, I don't know if you're ever going to get to an answer, but
No,
I mean,
probably not. But
to
the
each their own.
conversations that lead from the question, I think, are what made this episode a lot of fun for Josh and myself, and hopefully for the Gnome. So definitely want people to listen. I almost cracked him. I'm sure you could hear this in the episode. Almost cracked him on admitting that in the grand scheme of things,
Oh, I know where you're going with this.
I know you know where I'm going with this, that Naturdays is craft beer. Once again, the disappointment, you can feel it. You can feel it surrounding this table. I had to say it. We can agree to disagree, but on some level, Naturdays can be
So
craft beer.
what's interesting though is that I don't in any way consider Naturdays a craft beer. However, plenty enough breweries are trying to make a beer that's like Naturdays.
Sure.
And if they make one, then we'd say,
Then what?
hey,
Right.
that is craft.
Sure, absolutely. I don't know. It was really fun to get to sit down. It's always fun to sit down and talk with Gnome, whether it's on mic for a show or as you and I have gotten it done several times, just having a beer with a friend.
Yeah.
Always good conversation. If you like the thought of trying to figure out what is craft, what does craft beer, a craft brewery, what does all of that mean to you? And also hear a lot about the amazing beers at Westside Brewery, specifically their double IPA.
I've heard that was good.
It was very good. I don't think we talked about it nearly enough. Check out this episode of, let's do it, the Cincinnati Brewcast with the Gnarly Gnome, myself, and my better half, Josh, a quarter of Truth, Beer, and Consequences. He is the back-end producer. And give the Gnome a shout-out, a support. Like his show, subscribe if you can. Support him on Patreon. His content is so incredibly important for the Cincinnati craft beer community. Can't say that enough. Did you have anything else on this episode before we move on to Shift Beers?
I just want to say that it brought a smile to my face when I queued up Cincy Brewcast and I got to hear the Gnome and you and Josh. It just made me smile. I smiled the whole episode because it was a fun conversation, and it was with just three of my friends that a year ago wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
It really, the having a podcast about podcasts in craft beer has been a really, really fun experience and has opened up a lot to just to be involved with.
Oh,
and
yeah,
so
yeah.
for me, that was super exciting to hear you two on Cincy Brewcast.
Thank you. It was a lot of fun to be able to be on another episode. It was great. All right. Do you need a break? Are you good? Do you want to just run into Shift Beers head on? You still have some beer in your glass. Do you have enough to get us through Shift Beers?
Yeah, I think I do.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's do it. Episode 88 of Shift Beers, Detox'n and Retox'n with Kari.
Kari.
Who you may remember from all the way back in episode 34 of Shift Beers.
I do.
She is Beth's friend from Charlotte, the other Queen City, even though we are the best Queen City.
Right.
Oh my God, this episode was everything I was hoping it was going to be, and then some.
Oh, it surpassed
All expectations.
all expectations.
I mean, it started off with a banger of I don't even want to say a quote, but they talked about how, they talk about beer and beer accessories, even though they don't really talk about accessories other than the cups that they pass out to drink, even though we gave them a beer accessory that I don't think they've mentioned even once since the initial testing of it. But that's cool. It's cool, guys. We still love you. It's fine. But they said your hand is the best accessory. And they're not wrong.
Hey, now.
They're not. Take that as you will. They're not wrong.
Yeah.
They're not wrong, unless it's a Blocks. A Blocks is a pretty damn good accessory to put in your beer.
Yeah.
Even though it's a drinkable accessory. Accessory? Words. Don't know what's going on here. I blame the beers. Call their drunk line. I don't care. I don't care if you're not drunk. Just if you have something fun to say, call their drunk line. Give them something good to listen to. It is 804-445-2334, which translates to 805 High Five Beer. I don't know if anyone's calling. They haven't let us know about anyone calling other than when you called and they went, well, this doesn't count. Market wasn't drunk. How do they know? Or no, it wasn't even you.
I didn't call.
It was Gilbert Godfrey who called from Beyond the Grave.
Gilbert Godfrey called.
A couple other people called,
Who
too.
else called?
They did a decent chunk of the intro to this episode before they got into Drinkin' about a reminisce on Craigslist. More specifically, like the misconnections board on Craigslist. Holy crap, those are always hilarious to scroll through. The things that people noticed that they felt they wanted to post on the internet to try to see if anyone else reads those same, not even threads, but just same posts. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. They did a great job on this Drinkin' segment, even though they had a guest. It only lasted 10 minutes and 10 seconds.
Way to
Bravo,
go.
guys.
Way to go.
Bravo, guys and gals. That was awesome.
I'm not gonna spoil why.
Yes. Okay. Very good. Very good. I was about to do a mention, but you're right. They did go into why, but it was a very condensed Drinkin', and it was.
Yeah.
I don't know if I liked it better or worse than when it's more than half of the normal episode, because some of the stories you get from it are pretty spectacular. But it did deserve a mention that this Drinkin' segment was very, very minuscule compared to the rest of the episode.
Julie, you don't need to do that action with your hands like that. I mean, you don't. She's doing like a minimizing.
I'm like, I'm moving my hands together. And it's like no one, the Patreon live stream members, they can see what's going on. They know what's happening. There was a lot of sports puck recaps from Chris. I almost thought we were listening to the Newbert Report for a second there.
Yeah. There's a lot of sports puck.
A lot of sports puck.
Yeah.
A lot. Whole lot. And then apparently the internet threw a ton of shade at Chris for his salsa chug on Instagram, which...
And I caught a stray there. Did you hear that? I caught a stray.
I did not.
You didn't hear that?
I don't think so.
They said like I said his mohawk was stupid or something like that. I'm like, what? I don't think that's quoted anywhere.
I don't think so. Well, but
I don't think I did that.
Well, but especially if it was posted only on Instagram, because you're not on Instagram.
I'm not on
you
Instagram.
would have had no way to see it.
I saw his mohawk live, and I don't think I said it was stupid, although I was thinking it.
Well, does he have the cranium for it? Some say so.
Look, I mean, when you do something like that, you just got to own it, right?
Absolutely, and he does.
Yeah.
100%. Like, he walks in and he was like, yeah, this is my haircut. What are you going to do about it? And because he's like 3 feet taller than me, nothing. Looks good, dude. Love it. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, so when they started getting into the beers that Kari brought, well, mostly ciders, which all sounded freaking amazing.
Yeah.
I hope that I'm sure that they saved some for us to try, because I mean, we're best buds with Shift Beer, so I'm sure that they saved some. I did not realize this, but it makes perfect sense that Coors and Bud are the perfect palate cleansers for in between beer tastings if you're doing a whole bunch of different styles, different flavors.
Yeah, it's perfect.
What's your normal cleanser of choice if you're going to be doing a whole bunch of different beers? Do you just go for water? Do you do like a light lager? What?
Yeah, a light lager.
Light lager?
Yeah.
That's
Usually don't want to palate cleanse with water. but probably just, a nice crispy Pilsner palate cleanse.
Sounds
and
good.
And then move on.
Sounds good.
Keep you sharp for the the hop tasting, the malt bill, and the profile of the beer.
Makes sense.
Yep.
Makes sense. Brian introduced everyone to the Butt Slam, which is a much more aggressive version of the Butt Chug.
Very aggressive.
Yes. And I'm amazed that he made it through. I'm assuming unscathed.
Well, he's an overachiever.
But he really is.
He's an overachiever.
He is a Cincinnati State brewing program. I almost said congratulate.
I didn't
He's a
know
graduate.
that was something they covered in the program. So essentially beer cans or bowling pins.
Well, I mean, Cincinnati State is on the west side. So there
true.
is no amount of things that they won't cover. Whether they should is a completely different story. But the Butt Slam was crazy.
They go into detail. And
They
you
really
need
do.
It. You need the
You
detail.
really do. You cannot understand the full impact of a Butt Slam versus a Butt Chug until you hear Brian describe it in incredible detail.
Yep.
What was not in incredible detail was one of the labels from one of the ciders
Oh, yeah.
that they had. Beth was triggered.
Yeah.
She was very upset for a majority of the episode. It may have impacted her and Kari's friendship, even though Kari had nothing to do with these ciders other than bringing them in.
It gave her like this like
was like a tick.
graphic designer Tourette's.
Yes. It was kind of disturbing. It made me uncomfortable listening to how upset Beth was about this.
I wanted to somehow shield her from that atrocity.
Yeah, I mean, definitely listen to find out what did. And I'm not going to throw out the cidery. Is that what you call cidery?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
The cidery's name because they make, it sounds like absolutely amazing drinks.
Yeah.
But they had
just
a
have-
problem with the labels, and I feel like it could have been
Yeah.
avoided.
It was shitty.
It was very shitty. Very, very
And what
shitty.
they did, they're wrong for what they did to Beth.
Right. It's not even about the label. It's you hurt our friend with your inconsistencies in your label.
Yep.
With your lack of quality control on how that label was presented to the world.
Right.
And therefore, you now have invoked our ire as we try to shield and protect Beth from any future mishaps that particular cidery may present in the future.
That's right.
I mean, it makes me nervous on if they ever get more ciders from them, because what if there's another label like
She might
this?
break shit.
I'm telling you.
She might just go fucking insane.
Dude,
and break shit.
she lifts. She could break a lot of shit.
Yeah.
It makes me nervous. So Beth, hopefully you're okay. Hopefully if you have, any sessions with a therapist, anything, if you need to talk to anyone and you don't have anyone professional, you know where to find us on Tuesdays.
That's right.
We will be your sounding board,
Yep.
and we will hopefully make the bad labels go away. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could bring a straitjacket just in case.
Might not be a bad idea. If Beth She-Hulks out, we're
Right.
gonna need a little control in
Exactly.
here. Yeah. I cannot be liable for the wine bottles and all that if things go south.
Yeah.
Yeah. They played Banger in a Box with Kari, but with a twist.
That's right.
And we're not going to go over it because you need to listen
You
to
need to
find
go
out
listen. Banger in
who
a Box
won,
with a
who
twist.
lost. But there were different rules applied to this because of the number of, I don't say guests, she was the guest up to a point.
It was almost like Hungry Hippo meets Banger in a Box.
That's an excellent way to describe it. That's perfect. I love it. It was a very cool twist on the traditional Banger in a Box, and I hope that they continue that with any other guests that they have on that they do Banger in a Box with. Speaking of guests, they had kind of two surprise guests.
Yes.
They had someone that popped in from front of house. Brian sounds like, and Brian spelled correctly, sounds like an absolute riot.
Yeah.
My God.
Holy shit.
His one-liners, his jokes,
Holy shit.
I was dying, as was everyone else
It's hilarious.
in the room. He's amazing, although I will say the drag softball game is not in Cheviot, it's in Delhi. It is in my neck of the woods, the Delhi Skirt Game. It's the first Friday. I'm going to promote it because it's awesome.
Do it.
The first Friday in August, so it is coming up. It supports the Delhi Community Association. Over the last, I forget how many years they've been doing it, over 20 years. They have raised over $1 million for the community by doing this.
So this is a softball game?
Yeah, it's
so
it's
there's
just
a bunch of
softball game.
pitchers and catchers.
There are a bunch of pitchers and catchers. You even
Awesome.
have a couple basemen that are making sure that all the balls are directed to where they need to go.
Excellent.
It's a lot of fun. They only play a couple of innings, so it's not a full 9-inning game. They catch and pitch as much as they possibly can before
Very
they
good.
get too worn out.
Very good.
There are fireworks, there are food trucks, there are games for kids. It really is a fun event. It's normally hot as shit, so it's, unless you're okay with being out in the sun, very little shade for a couple of hours. It's a good time, and anyone who's offended just doesn't know what the fuck's going on. There is nothing to be offended about.
Yeah, nobody's
with
forcing you to
this.
dress and drag.
No one's forcing you to go if you don't want to see.
Drag.
Right,
Like you can't
right.
just show up and like, all of a sudden I
Oh,
need
no,
to,
I
need
have
to go
the
buy women's
drag.
clothing.
Right. No one's forcing you to go. No one's forcing you to dress and drag. If you don't like the idea, don't go.
Yeah.
Period. If you don't like gay marriage, don't get gay married. I mean, I don't understand what is so difficult about this.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that
If you don't
was.
like clowns, don't join a circus.
There you go.
Don't go to a circus.
Don't go to a circus. Although clowns should be banned and outlawed, and they should all
Totally
be
agree. Totally agree.
completely
It's
like
totally
sent
separate.
to Australia with
Not
the
at
rest
all
of the
the same
convicts.
thing.
No, not at all.
I totally
not at
agree
all.
with you.
But
Speaking of sending him off to somewhere else, like Australia, I watched Escape from New York the other night.
oh,
Yeah, with
I have
Snake Plissken.
how was that?
Yeah, you haven't seen it?
I have not.
Oh, shit.
I have not. I know.
What the?
Dude, I still haven't seen Top Gun. Oh no, Marcus, the headset's off, the mic is down. He's taking his beer. He's walking towards the door. Hey, Marco, I'm sorry. I'll watch it. Okay, can you come back? Can you please come back so we can do this? Let's finish this episode, and we can talk about this afterwards. Okay? Okay. Thank you. Thank you. I'm
Kurt
sorry.
Russell.
I'm
Kurt
sorry.
Russell?
I know Kurt Russell.
Yeah, he's in
Yeah.
Escape from New York.
I know.
And
I
he was
just
in
haven't
Escape from
seen
LA,
it.
but don't watch that one.
Okay, just the New York. Okay.
Yeah, the New York.
Okay. We got a Josh's Twisted Tea tip.
You did. Yeah, we did.
We
All
did.
of
I
us.
was gonna say not just me. Everyone got a Josh's Twisted Tea tip, which was freaking awesome. Unless you're a dog. Do we want to?
No.
We don't want to expose it to the listeners. Okay, but all I'm going to say is it involved dogs, and it kind of goes back to the beginning of the episode about hands being the best accessory. Take that where you will. Listen to the episode and find out how much I twisted that. Or did I?
Yeah.
You never know.
Or did you never know?
There we go. I was waiting for that one. So, okay, Brian, I want to be his best friend.
He should come on the pod.
He really should come on the pod. Brian, I know that you and that's Brian spelled correctly, not Brian the Button. Because Brian the Button, he knows where we are. We've seen him here before.
Yeah.
He is always welcome. But new Brian is also very, very much welcome, very, very much invited to join us on the show, because we need another episode where all I do is die laughing the entire episode. We haven't had one of those in a while.
My fault, but
And
sure.
I think that Brian could make that happen.
Oh, I definitely think that could happen.
Absolutely.
We could record from there.
They also made a phone call out to the second guest. Wasn't very long second guest. Gonna leave that one up in the air for you to listen to find out who they called and what impression that guest did for us.
Yes.
Not as good as any of your impressions, Marco.
Oh, well.
However, it was I think because the impression from this guest was almost forced out of him from Josh, but it was still very, very good.
Yeah.
Again, you're better, but this one was second as far as top impersonations.
Okay.
Yeah. And listen to this episode. Find out who Kari iced.
That's right.
Because shit happened.
This episode was almost like a fireworks show, right? It was good. Oh, very good, and then it just went boom, 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 boom,
exactly.
and then ended.
Yes, it ended with a bang. It was phenomenal, a ton of fun, just like all of their episodes are.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead. Was there anything else that you had from this episode before we get to the best part of our Shift Beers recap? All right, we have one final portion of the Shift Beers recap to go over. Marco, would you like to do the honors?
Yes, Julia,
yeah.
I would.
Let's do it.
Okay, so we have a drinking game. One podcast that we have a drinking game for, and it's Shift Beers. And we did this very early on in our podcast life. Mm-hmm. And so what it is we count all the audible burps from Shift Beers, yes. And then we tally them up, give you a total. And then based off of a very scientific Google search of an average sip of 2 ounces, mm-hmm. We let you know how many ounces that would be, and then we break that down into pints. And then that we give you how many pints you would have to drink if you're doing the drinking game mm-hmm. with Shift Beers for this particular episode.
Yes, and I do want to shout out our show sponsors this week, again, the Newbert Report, because in their latest episode, Newbert took a drink that was above average. It was probably, according to his estimates, 2.5 to 3 ounces of liquid. So good job to you for that. Wow. Very impressive.
Was that an Owen Wilson?
It was. I'm glad you noticed.
Good job, Julia.
Thank you. I'm working on my impressions. You have inspired me. But this episode of Shift Beers, episode 88, the burp count. They had 73 burps.
Really?
Which is pretty good. I mean, it wasn't seltzer for ciders and for...
Really?
Yeah.
Because I when I listened to the episode, I'm like, wow, low burp count. Low.
It was... The beginning wasn't very good, but kind of mid to the end, they really... started amping it.
It was like rapid fire.
It really was. It really was.
Yeah.
So 73 burps, which averages out to, or well, not even averages, it is 146 ounces of liquid.
Okay.
Which is 9.125 pints.
Oh, nice.
You are getting it done.
Yeah.
If you are playing the burp game.
Because that was what, only a 50-minute episode?
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, I mean,
they did great.
They
did great.
Almost 9.5 pints in 50 minutes.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah.
Woo. Julia, let's hear that Owen Wilson again.
Wow.
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 I would say we can make it a button, but it sounds like we do a good enough job. We don't need to make it a button. We can just do it on demand.
We don't need no fucking button.
That's professionalism. All right, we need new beers, so let's take a real quick break, and then we are going to shout out the local breweries that have medaled in this year's U.S. Open Beer Championship, and we are going to let you know about our 1-year podcast-versary event that you can be a part of. So stick around for a couple quick seconds in Podcastlandia time, and we will be right back with more. All right, guys, we are back. We have a brand new beer in our glasses. We have a bunch of pages of Cincinnati craft beer winners in the 2022 U.S. Open Beer Championship, and we have information for you about our upcoming event. But we have breaking news. This is something that I just got on the news stream.
Oh, okay. Just...
We have complaints.
Oh,
we
sweet.
have. I just got messaged from @RagingHop on Twitter, which is where all the complaints for our show should go to.
Yeah.
So it looks like there are 4 of them here.
Oh, are they all from me?
No.
Okay.
No, not all of them. Not all of them.
Were any of them from Gilbert Gottfried?
No.
Posthumously.
Somehow,
Posthumously, Gilbert Gottfried.
So I'm going to go over these real fast because we have not had complaints in a while. Raging Hop, thank you so much for sending these over to me. You know that I like to get them before we start recording, but hey, any time is a good time. So let's see what we got.
Did Al Pacino leave any of them?
Does it? I mean, it could be.
Stallone?
I don't know. I mean, these are all Twitter handles. It could be. We have no way of knowing.
Okay.
The first one from @JingleJams513. Your recap of Shift Beers isn't as funny as Shift Beers itself. I feel like that's an insider job there.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. We're not trying to be funnier than Shift Beers. We're just trying to let you know how funny Shift Beers is.
No.
Oh, Liam Neeson. My God, my heart. Amazing. We're not trying to be funnier or more informative or anything. We're not trying to be more anything than any of these podcasts are. We want you to go, that sounds fun, that sounds informative, that sounds like something I want to listen to, so I'm going to listen. So, Jingle Jams 513, appreciate it, but we're not trying to be funnier than Shift Beers. No one can be funnier than Shift Beers.
Right.
The next one from at Cincy _stout_spaz. There are beer events you guys don't mention. Need to do better research for your calendar episodes. Tell us about it.
Yeah, tell us.
At truthbeerpod at gmail.com.
Let us
know what events we're missing. I do my best. Marco does his best to see what's out on social media, what's on the brewery's websites. There's a lot. We may miss it. Let us know. Next one, because I don't want this episode to get too terribly long. From at Trash Panda 6248.
Oh, Trash Panda?
Trash Panda. You know them?
Didn't they comment before?
I don't remember. I try not to remember the complaints too much. I move past them.
Yeah, that's fine. You're like Kyrie Irving.
Marco, I'm sorry about this one.
Oh, here we go.
Saw a picture of the Truth Beer Podsequences team. I thought Marco would be taller. BC should probably get him a booster seat.
Yeah.
Technically, we're about the same height, so I would need one too.
No,
so that's unfair.
No. I'm like average height for a short woman.
No.
So
hey, you and I, we see eye to eye, and that's all that matters.
Sure.
All right. So Trash Panda, Trash Panda 6248.
Yeah.
Well, hey, the bar stools are tall enough. That's all that matters.
That's fine. That's fine.
And
I hope they eat a bad hot dog and get diarrhea.
There we go. This last one's not really a complaint, but I okay. From at the best Adam D. Hey Marco, I need you to cover one of my shifts next week in Northside. I'll donate to your podcast to cover parking costs. Thanks.
Columbus doesn't even have a map on how to get to the west side. Just saying.
Hey, I'm just reporting what Raging Hub gave to me. So there we go. We got a couple complaints to throw into the show. I guess talk to Adam and Jason and Nick about.
I can do that.
Yeah, well, I
can do that.
We'll figure it out. Let's get to something incredibly important, more important than complaints and not complaints about our show.
Okay.
The winners from Cincinnati for this year's U.S. Open Beer Championship. Marco, do you want to start out with the first page, and let's try to run through these so we can get to more stuff about our show?
Yeah.
Well, let's do it. These places deserve their shout-outs.
And we're going to do it. So the 2022 U.S. Open Beer Championship winners. So Third Eye Brewing of Cincinnati took third place overall in top breweries.
Hell yeah.
So I am going to say congratulations to all the winners.
Absolutely.
And we are going to rip through this like a high school graduation.
Yes.
So top 10 beer names. Still not as bitter as your ex. That's a New Ales Brewing.
I love that name.
Who's a good beer? Or who's a good beer? From Streetside Brewing. I Need More Cowbell. Or hold on. I Need More Cowbell. The Common Beer Company.
Nice.
It's pronounced Frankenstein IPA. Listerman. The joke there is that it's a PH for the Frank. PH RANKENSTEEN. Frankenstein.
I get it.
You wrote it. But it's,
I copied it from the U.S. Open website. So, yes.
Australian Style Pale Ale. Silver. Nine Giant Brewing. Pass the Mic Mosaic. Brewed IPA. Silver. Fretboard Brewing for Bootsy. Fruit IPA. Bronze. Fig Leaf. Blood Orange. Isotrope. New England Hazy IPA. Bronze. Braxton Brewing Company. Tropic Flare. Classic Dry Irish Stout. Bronze. Northern Row Brewery and Distilling. Cream Stout. Silver, Third Eye Brewing, Higher Purpose. Oatmeal Stout, Silver, Third Eye Brewing, Deep Euphoria. Pastry Stout, Silver, Street Side Brewing. Snowball, Speak of the Devil. I'm feeling it, Julia. I'm going to keep going.
Keep going. Do it.
Silver, The Common Beer Company, Come Together.
Right now. Over me.
English Mild, Gold, Brink Brewing, Hold the Reins. German Kolsch, Bronze, Rheingeist Brewing, Gold for Record. Belgian Pale Ale, Silver, The Common Beer Company, I Need More, Cowbell. Bronze, Fretboard Brewing, Crazy Train. Belgian Style Strong Specialty Ale, Bronze, High Grain Brewing for Oost. Gold, Goes, or Goose, depending on how you want to.
The emphasis on the syllables.
Don't at me. Gold, Narrow Path Brewing for Restless Seas.
I love that one.
Yeah, good.
So good.
American Lager Pilsner, Bronze, Sonder Brewing for Rally Cat.
Hell yeah, especially on that slow pour. Holy fuck.
That's right. German Lager Pilsner, Gold, High Grain Brewing for Lucen. International Style Pilsner, Gold, Fretboard Brewing for Vlad. Marzen, Oktoberfest, Bronze, Northern Road Brewery and Distilling. Vienna, Silver, Moorline Lager House for Moorline Original Lager. Schwarzbier, Gold.
My favorite style.
Schwarzbier?
Schwarzbier, yeah.
I'm
sorry.
Nice.
I'm sorry to disappoint you once again.
No,
anyway,
I'm not
the winner.
Cartridge Brewing.
Hell yeah.
Schwarzbier, Gold, Cartridge Brewing for Covert. I get it. It's like a covert operation.
Yeah, hey,
Yeah, it's like
job.
a covert. Yeah.
You did it.
Baltic Porter, Gold, Nine Giant Brewing for Coolverine. Dortmunder Export, Silver, Sam Adams, Cincinnati. This is the year. Dark Lager, Gold, MPH Brewing for Great Dane. American Style Berry, Beer, Raspberry, Gold, Street Side for Raspberry Beret. American Style Fruit Beer, Orange, Gold for Grainworks Brewing, Orange Dreams. American Style Fruit Beer, Peach, Silver for Sam Adams Brewery, Cincinnati, Queen City Crown. Herb and Spice Beer, Bronze, New Ales Brewing, You Wish You Were This Chill. Chocolate or Cocoa Beer, Gold, Third Eye Brewing for Double Astral. Rye, Rogan Beer, Silver, The Common Beer Company for Rye, clearly. Barrel Aged Strong Stout, Porter, Specialty, Bronze. Mad Tree Brewing, Axis of Darkness. Barrel Aged Barley Wine, English, that is Silver for Third Eye Brewings. Barrel Aged Kelly's Private Stash. Barrel Aged German Lager, Silver, Rheingeist Innovation Brewery for Glyptodon. I thought I had a Glyptodon, and then the doctor said, no, it was just stress.
Glad to hear it. Well, not that it was stress, but I'm glad that it's, nothing serious.
Yeah,
anyway.
Nothing they said it would they gave me a cream for that. American Belgian Style Ale, Silver, Nine Giant Brewing for Minor Swing. That was not one of my nicknames in high school. Peanut Butter, Gold, Third Eye Brewing for Brewing Dark Aura. That I've been told I have one.
I can see it. I can
dark
see
aura.
that. Yeah.
Congratulations to all of the medalists.
Absolutely. Cincinnati makes amazing beer, and it is always awesome. Medals aren't everything, but it is awesome to see the recognition for our local craft breweries and the beers that they make, because it's so good.
Yeah.
They're all so good.
Yeah.
So definitely get out to your local breweries. It hits your lips. Get out to your local craft breweries. Have some of these beers if they're on tap. If they're in distribution, if they're in cans anywhere, get some. And definitely celebrate everything that Cincinnati craft beer has to offer. We're going to go ahead and take another super quick break, but we are going to get right back to letting you know about our 1-year podcast anniversary and how you can be involved in the celebration. So stick around, and we'll be right back with you. All right, we are back, and we are drinking not a brand new beer, but there is a new beer in our glass. We are both enjoying Nines Are Wild, the cold double IPA from Rheingeist Brewing's 9th anniversary. There were 2 cans left in the cooler here at BC's. I don't know why. These should have been snagged up as soon as it was released, but we got them. We have them. It is freaking delicious. Shout out to Rheingeist, to their 9th anniversary. My God, they're doing such amazing things here in Cincinnati with craft beer.
Oh, yeah.
So we're enjoying this. And while we enjoy this, I want to tell you about what we are doing for our 1-year podcast anniversary. I cannot believe that it's been almost a year already. To be technical, it's been a little over a year since we started this, because you and I were talking about this, planning this, recording test episodes exactly a year, a little more than a year from today, from episode 50.
I think we started it was either March or April, I think.
Yeah. Because I started at my new job near the end of June, and we had been talking about it, doing test episodes for at least a month, if not 2 months prior to that.
And I feel like, and we had like a meet and greet, and then a discussion, and then we had like 1 or 2 more meet and greets and discussions, and then we bought some equipment,
and then we started recording, and we did one night where we just recorded just random conversations, and then we said, okay, let's actually record what we feel like is going to be what our episodes are going to be. And then we recorded 3 or 4, like over the course of almost a month, 3 or 4 test episodes that never hit the light of day.
Nope.
Probably never will.
Nope.
Not that they're bad, but it's just we really hadn't hit our stride with them, and I'm glad that we put out our first episode when we did.
Yeah, and even though we did that, there was still some figuring out and some working through.
Yeah, we're still doing that today. Every week, our pre-production meetings, we throw around ideas of, hey, maybe we could modify this with the 0.5 or this with the main episode, or maybe we can do guaranteed bonuses about this or that. This is always a work in progress. Truth, Beer, and Podsequences is never done evolving.
No.
The main part of our episode where we talk about podcasts. Ooh, go ahead, Liam.
No.
There we go. The main part of our podcast where we talk about other craft beer podcasts will never change, but we can still grow and be bigger than just that in one way or another, and we're still figuring that out.
Yep.
So to celebrate our 1-year podcast anniversary, that anniversary date is July 26th. So 2 weeks from this episode comes out on a Friday, so a week and a half from when this episode releases, that is a Tuesday, we will be doing another live episode from here at BC's Bottle Lodge Montgomery. And what does a live episode mean if you're new to joining us? It means that we are going to be broadcasting what we say over the speakers at BC's. So whether you want to hear us or not, we're going to be everywhere in this place.
Yep.
So apologies in advance to the moms with their kids that show out for a White Claw or a seltzer while they're watching the kids and they get us. It's going to be over the speakers.
The lady with the 2 kids that showed up last time, and I made a breastfeeding joke.
Oh, it was amazing. They didn't stay very long after that, but it was absolutely amazing.
Oh, gotta go.
Funny as hell. But yeah, normally we have as many of the local podcasts that we cover try to show up, which we had a pretty good showing last time.
A really good showing.
We know that it's the middle of the week.
Show up if they can.
Yeah, we know it's the middle of the week. We do try to keep the episode, the last live episode, we just went on until the place closed down, which is what we normally do. We're going to try to keep it reined in this time to where hour and a half. We're not going to try to take breaks in between. Hopefully people will bring us beers to the table so that we don't have to stop recording or stop live broadcasting in between to do that. If I can find a way, if I can get maybe a second battery pack, something like that, I might try to see if I can live stream it on Facebook over my phone so that the Newbert Report can, if not tune in live, at least watch it after the fact. Still trying to figure that out. Where would I put my phone? How would I do this? How would I do that? Not a guarantee, but I am trying really hard to figure out if I can make that work, because the Newbert Report, I want to give them as much as we possibly can because of the support that they've given us from day one. So July 26th, 6 p.m., BC's Bottle Lodge Montgomery. I will be making a Facebook event page before the end of this week. Please show up if you have fun with our shows. Even if you are brand new, show up and meet us. We'd love to meet you.
Yes.
Other podcasters will hopefully be here. Shift Beers, at least 90% of them should be here. They are an absolute riot. It's going to be a good time. It's going to be amazing to celebrate 1 year of uninterrupted weekly podcasts about the other Cincinnati craft beer podcasts. And I can't think of anyone that I want to celebrate it with more than all of our listeners and all of our other podcast friends who have made this show possible.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better myself, Julia. Way to go. And yes, we are excited about hitting our 1 year anniversary. Mm-hmm. And we would love for you to join us and have a great time as we, talk about what we talk about.
Absolutely. It's going to be a great time, and I know you're thinking, how much fun can it be to listen to a recap of podcast recaps? We bring the podcast, if they are in attendance, up to the table with us. So we talk to them directly about what the hell were you guys thinking when you did this or you said that, and we let them try to explain themselves.
Yeah.
So our truth may be debunked by their truth.
Could be.
You never know until you listen, or...
You never know.
So we're looking forward to seeing you July 26th, 6 p.m., BC's Bottle Lodge, Montgomery. Other than that, I think that we're pretty much wrapped up with a bow on episode 50.
50.
50.
Hell yeah, Julia.
That's older than you and me and Joe from Craft Parenting Podcast.
That's true.
He is ancient.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for listening, as always. If you like what we do, please like and subscribe and share and review and tell your friends and everybody that you know and even people that you don't know about our show.
Yeah.
If you would like to, follow us on social media at Truth Beer Pod. If you have something that you'd like to say to us that's longer than what social media allows, our email address is truthbeerpod@gmail.com. You can find all of our episodes on YouTube as well. And if you would like to send us a monetary donation, you can do so at truthbeerpod.com. There's a blue coffee, KO-FI link where you can toss us a couple bucks. We do have plans for that money. It does not go to waste. If nothing else, it buys us a bunch of beer and blocks, which is the fuel of our show.
Yes.
Yes. So, Marco, what are you going to be doing next Tuesday?
So I'm going to be here, hopefully with you, recapping all the podcasts that are Cincinnati-based, craft beer-based, that we listen to this week.
Sounds excellent. I will be there with you. I will see you next week.
Awesome. Cheers.
Cheers.
Hi, everybody. It's Marco here with Julia from Truth Beer Pod. Just wanted to take a moment to really speak about something that, I don't know if a lot of people talk about. Whether you're in the brewing industry, hospitality industry, restaurant industry, or not, just, any other sort of field that you may be in, there are times that sometimes you need to talk to someone. And what's important is that everybody know that life is worth living, and tomorrow is something that can bring on new and exciting and beautiful promises. So for those of us that work really hard in this particular industry, I just wanted to take a moment, and Julia agreed to let everyone know that you matter. So with that being said, Julia, why don't you give our listeners some information on, if or when they feel that way, who to contact or how to contact them.
Yeah, if you need to reach out to someone and you don't feel comfortable calling a friend, a family member, going through, if your company has some type of employee support system, you can always call the Suicide Prevention Hotline. Their number is 1-800-273-8255. If you don't want to talk to someone, but you would rather text someone instead, they do have a text line. You can text the number 4 and then the word HOPE, for HOPE, that is 44673 to 741-741. And then starting July 16th nationwide, there will be a new number very similar to 911, but just for just mental health purposes, 988. So again, 988 starts on July 16th. And remember, it is perfectly okay to not be okay. We just want you to reach out and talk to someone if you ever see the need to.
Thanks, Julia.